So this is Short Staffing in Nursing by Parker Wood. What is short staffing? Short staffing is when a hospital has more patients than there are nurses to take care of them. This problem may not seem too severe, but the mental effects it can have on a nurse is very harmful. If you put a nurse in a situation where they have to work way harder and way longer than they should, it can be very stressful on the nurses. This problem may seem like it's just a temporary problem or that it's just been around for a few years, but we dig into the history of short staffing, and it's been going on since the 30s. Short staffing of nurses has been a problem since the 1930s. Yes, you read that right, the 1930s. The government funded over 160 million for nursing education to try to help the problem. That did help stagger it a little bit at the time, but the short staffing problem has still continued, and you will see as we go on throughout the PowerPoint, whenever I propose a solution, that the solution is similar, that we do need to graduate nurses, and that is the underlying problem, and it is the solution right now. We're not getting enough nurses. We don't have enough nursing graduation to try to counterbalance the short staffing that is going on. So that was the problem then, and that is still the problem today. So short staffing is a lot worse than it seems or would just appear to the eye. You'd have to dig a little deeper to do the understanding of the effects of it and how bad it just is. But when nurses get severely stressed out, it leads them to give bad reviews to the younger generation, and that leads to kids not going to college to be nurses. Big problem is getting kids to graduate into the nursing field because of all the bad reviews for nurses now. So right now, nurses are very stressed out because there are more patients than nurses. They're having to do way more work than they should have to do. And that means they're very stressed out and their workplace is not very enjoyable. And then whenever younger kids ask them about their career, they're going to be like, this is not a great career. We're always stressed out. We're having to do more work than we should. And that's going to lead kids away from nursing. And you can't expect to fill a void if you're not bringing in a steady flow of graduates. And that's the problem. It's not getting graduates because the workplace is so bad right now. That is the underlying problem. I just thought I'd share this graph with you because I found this very interesting myself. When you think of nurses being harassed or bullied, you would think it would be from patients because that's who they deal with, and those patients sometimes are just on edge. But this really shocked me, and I guess it does make sense that other nurses, they feel as if they are more verbally harassed by, because when they are in this stressed workplace, you're around so many people and there is not even close to enough people what there should be, and you're all on edge trying to do as much as you can. You're very stressed out, and that would lead you to take out your anger from you being stressed on your other like your coworkers. And I found this graphic very interesting that they actually feel that other coworkers are more harassing than the other patients. This just goes to show you how bad the problem is and how bad we need a solution. Why a solution is needed. As if the short staffing problem isn't bad enough now, by 2024 there will be over 1 million nursing openings. If there isn't a solution by then, we could have a huge problem in the nursing world, even bigger than what's going on right now. So, at the rate we're going with older nurses that have been there a long time retiring and the lack of younger kids graduating, by 2024 it could lead to over 1 million job openings for nurses, and that would just be very crippling to the nursing world, and it would put nurses under so much more stress because at some point you can't hire but so many temp agency people and temporary workers. You have to have some full-time nurses, and this is a solution is needed now more than ever because there is going to be such a huge gap in the coming up years. Here's my proposition for the problem, or how the solution for the short staffing problem. The best solution is to implement support groups for nurses and team bonding activities for nurses to try and improve the workplace. If being stressed out and overworking is a big problem, then making nurses feel at home and less stressed out would be a big help. I tried to do something that it's not a huge budget, but should have a great impact because the whole thing is nurses being too stressed out and giving bad reviews to upcoming nurses or people who could become upcoming nurses. And what we need to do is get them not as stressed out and make their work environment like a family or like a home place. Do little things and even like things like bonding and team activities to get them to more cohesive and more like a family, because this should help the workplace be more fun and enjoyable and give better recommendations to the upcoming youth who would possibly graduate. Now, listening to that last slide, you might have some questions. Would this solution actually work? The objective of the solution is to try and motivate younger kids to go to college to be nurses. If nurses have positive things and suggest being a nurse to the younger generation will come. Getting the nurses to have positive workplace experiences and tell the younger generation about it, it would lead to a surge of new nursing graduates. Kind of like what I dabbled on a little bit last slide. This solution is meant to make the workplace more cohesive. And then if they start enjoying it and having a little bit better of a time, not quite as stressed out, even though the problem will still be there if they are more cohesive. And it kind of goes back to the image I showed you on slide 5, where they feel as they're most bullied by other nurses. If we can get that number to drop, where we feel we have a lot of nurses getting along better, then they will give better recommendations to the youth. And if the youth start hearing these recommendations, and they're going to think, well, this workplace sounds more fun than it has been. I think I might enjoy this. That should lead to a surge of graduating nurses. And that is really the only solution to this problem is graduating nurses. And I feel like getting the workplace to be better and more enjoyable and then letting younger people figure out about it should help nurses want to graduate, and go into this field. It should make it more enjoyable. And if you get more nurses to graduate, it should gradually start to hit at the short staffing. And if you continue this, it should eventually take away the short staffing problem.